Our trading day begins at 8 o'clock in the morning, and usually before one has time to sit down or collect his thoughts, get a quiet cup of coffee, a telex will go off, or a phone will ring, and then the battle begins.
Sean? Because, you know, when statements start coming out now, like Miller statements this morning, like, it was along the line of...
Thank you.
We have a dozen gentlemen sitting around the trading room. We're basically involved in trading foreign exchange, both on behalf of our corporate customers and correspondents both here in the United States and also in countries abroad.
Thank you. Hello. Added the French. Added the rollover for 205.90. What is it? 70.88.
We've got 6 fully trained traders. We've also got 4 trainees, and also we have a member of our foreign exchange advisory service who keeps the bank's clients in touch with the market movements. But this gentleman here is Paul Alfredo. He's our specialist in Japanese yen. And at the moment, he's talking to a broker keeping updated on yen movements. Artie Agostini, he's our Deutschmark and Swiss franc dealer. I'm our chief sterling trader. These are the 3 crucial currencies in the international market today. We receive information on the market itself from our brokers. There are 11 brokers. The broker moves information around the market to whoever has a direct line to him. And speed, of course, is the essence. It's a very rapidly moving market. We receive information from many sources and attempt to find an interested party who coincides with our interest. That's to say, if ABC wants to sell Deutschmarks and we have a need to buy Deutschmarks, we're very interested in hearing what price he's willing to sell at. We receive calls from all over the world. And from London, we receive calls from at least a dozen banks who are continually calling us to see what sort of prices we're making and what currencies we're trading in. And in this respect, there's 5 currencies that we feel we have some expertise in. Namely, the British pound sterling, the Canadian dollar, Deutschmarks, Swiss francs, yen. And we also have a particular interest in the Scandinavian currencies, the Swedish krona, the Danish krona, and the Norwegian krona. The Reuters screen produces information on individual banks, which are transmitting bid or ask prices on foreign exchange and euro deposit rates. And all the people working here are constantly referring to these screens. This button system on the phones is a 40-line keyboard in duplicate. Basically, it's a quick way of answering phone calls. Half of these lines are private direct lines between the brokers and ourselves. These are the ones that are marked in green. The black keys, they're direct lines to our corporate customers or our senior executives within the bank. The most important line here is Dwight Allen's direct line. He's the head of our international division, and he has direct access to us, and we, of course, feed him with information that we consider important uptown. The red buttons are our Watts lines. These are basically toll-free lines which allow our corporates to dial us for, well, at no charge from any place in the United States and Canada. We're out to impress upon our corporate customer that we're quick to respond to his needs. Here we have a direct line, or a voice box as we call it, which is a direct phone contact with our London traders. When I raise my voice just slightly, our traders in London can hear me.
I don't know.
60-70 on 205.
There, you know what I mean?
What's that?
Was not sold down to 205, 60, just down to 205.
And therefore we can give them information in London that they may not yet have. Chicago was in selling pounds. I was hit pretty regularly by some of the banks, Northern Trust, Continental, and people like that. A trader is most concerned about maturity dates. Our normal trade for, let's say, pound sterling, for example, is a spot trade, and it's on the basis of a 2-day delivery. That means on Monday, we're delivering currencies on a Wednesday. Therefore, there's a direct need for both London and New York to be open on that day. And of course, there are a number of major holidays throughout the calendar year. The calendar is showing the holidays, and all the 12 traders around this desk have clear view of that calendar. There are large TV screens, which are the ongoing service of Dow Jones. These are basically concerned with the domestic market and not the international market. Underneath this, there is a machine that is a ticker tape, and that's the Dow Jones International News Service. These gentlemen are assisting the senior traders in various ways. So each one of the major traders has one of these gentlemen who are making up the buy and sell tickets for most of the day. At the same time, they're helping by answering the lines as the boards start to flash. And of course, let's not forget our telex machines that are right behind them. We've got a bank of 7 telex machines and 2 extra ones in front of 2 of our traders. Everyone who's working here is moving around very, very quickly, and they seem to be talking to about 5 people at once, plus each other. Pressure is the word, and looking around this desk, you can see that they're all very young people. It's been said in the past that you're finished once you reach age 40, and there's a lot of truth to that. It is a young man's game. It requires a very adept brain, mental agility is very important, and speed is of the essence.
Hey, somebody put on credit Swiss for me. 65 bit marks.
You want to make him Swiss?
What chemical? Oh, what is he, my marks? Out of Swiss, okay.
Still holding.
We hit this guy at 40, right? 40, 164.40. Confirm the big figure.
These French people are sleeping.
Sterling now, 82.92.
Hey, is it done at 40?
They're open, Hollis.
Okay, then I'm out. If it's not, then I'm out.
Rates move at such a quick pace that unless there's an inbuilt ability to move fast, to make decisions fast, and remember, the decision-making is made by each one of these individuals. We haven't got the time to turn to the next guy and say, hey, should I do this? Shouldn't I do that? We've got to act fast, make the price, decide on the amount of the trade, and stand by it at the end of the day when it comes down to the profit and loss side of the business. We are responsible for our own profits and losses. Each one of us is responsible for a particular currency, and if at the end of the day, let's say I'm up $10,000, well, believe me, nobody stands around and applauds. On the other hand, if I lose $10,000, well, I'm expected to explain the reasons behind it. And usually the reason is that the time between the original transaction of the customer or the correspondent and the time taken to counteract that trade by going into the marketplace, perhaps a span of 15 to 30 seconds, well, the market may have moved against me.
Come on, 40, 50, 40, 50.
Okay, 40, I'll do $1. 40 $1.
This whole business is about a team game, an esprit de corps, an ensemble spirit, if you will. The team spirit is absolutely vital. In this business, you get 12 men, very aggressive men. They're looking all the time to make money, to enhance the profits. And if there's a man who's not carrying his weight or has a personality that, well, just doesn't jive, doesn't allow him to get along with his fellow colleagues, well, then you've got trouble. It is essentially a team game.
All right, so Keith, we give you £1 million at 205.90.
And our association doesn't stretch between 8 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the evening. We often visit each other's houses, have get-togethers, barbecues, that sort of thing. We all have an interest in each other, both inside and outside the office. I guess an average trading day for us would involve somewhere in the region of 200 to 250 trades, and turning something like 150 to $200 million a day. The feature of the market in New York is that most of the activity occurs before 12 o'clock noon, which is 5 o'clock in London and most of Europe. Thereafter, the New York market has to be on its own, and this is what makes New York an interesting market. With our branches in Frankfurt and Tokyo and Singapore and all over the world, any customer of Manufacturers Hanover can have the facilities of all of our branches, which means effectively that we can trade on their behalf for 22 hours out of the 24-hour day. A dealer looks forward to the close of a busy trading day. He's tired, and yet he feels good that he survived another battle. And although he realizes he may not have won the war, tomorrow we begin it all over again.
This morning, this afternoon, it's around 4:18, so there was a sharp plunge of the French franc during